terms of kitchen stuff, sort of cooking and like assembling. But also it could be beneficial if you're happy to. So I want to try and get a load of pictures as well of the food when it's out there.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be something that you would be able to do with Jake to like try and show him basically on his phone the best ways to try and take food photography on the fly.
We can give it a go. We can give it a go. It will really come down to most cases with stuff like that. It's mostly down to lighting and then framing. So.
But if that's something you can do with Jake, because Jake will be the one that's going to be mainly taking over or looking after the social media sort of stuff. So maybe if you could sort of do that with him.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when the food's out.
Yeah.
Basically, I recommend we do.
Okay, no, that's cool. Did you want to start in the kitchen? What did you want to?
I mean, it's entirely up to you. I mean, what sort of setting up and stuff do you guys need? Is it literally
I'm basically ready.
Walking around with the camera?
Yeah, but I'm basically ready.
Okay.
I can go like now if you wanted to. Well, the question the question for me is number one, can we prep people we're interviewing soon enough? So in that time period, because we have like a week.
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, can you give us the time to do it? It would be like 3-4 hours of filming. Because I think, as I said when we initially discussed it, I think it's important to talk about the food with you, talk about your story with you, but then when we talk about front of house stuff, we need to show the faces of front of house.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like, are you going to be doing front of house? You're not going to be doing it. That kind of thing.
We are a little bit. We are going to be serving some of the food so people will see us.
But primarily it will be
Jake's the first face they'll see when they walk in.
Well, we kind of just frame it as a chat, really.
That's
the plan.
Yeah, but I mean, it'd be good if there's sort of certain points to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We'll definitely have the key. As I say, we'll definitely have the key points. I think the key points are going to be, okay, you're reopening, what's different, etc.
Yeah.
Where did you come from? How did you open it? Why did you take it on, etc., etc. And then what makes you different? Those are the elements that I would talk about personally. They're really cool.
Those in jugs. So basically, it's all stuff gets plated, and then the soup is then
poured on top. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Table size.
Okay. Now.
For that sort of.
Yes. Which side is going to be less in the way for me to be? That side shooting this way?
Probably be here is fine, because then you should be able to get a fairly decent shot there.
Okay, good to go. Yeah. So, what I would do, photo-wise, is you want to basically just try and always naturally light it if you can. So you get light coming in from the window. Think about how, if someone was going to look at it, how it would make it the most appealing, right? So when you take a photo of something, it's not about, it's like, what don't you see as well? So like, for example, if I take a photo here, what am I going to see? So it depends on what you want to target, but what you want to do is you want to have a dominant subject and then supporting subjects behind it. So let's say we're going to take a photo of this. You want this to be the main dominant subject in the photo, with then the supporting elements behind. It's olives. Yeah, it's the conversation we were just having, how to slice olives.
How do you slice an olive?
I'm not a chef, I don't know. Don't look at me. I would imagine with a knife and,
That's a good start.
straight down the middle, but I'm not an expert. Because we're gonna splice this all up anyway.
I'm well aware that I don't have the smallest kitchen in Salisbury, but it still feels pretty small.
It's alright. I've worked in cupboards before, so.
So have I.
Because you're cropping off this. So you were cropping off the edge of this. There you go. The reason why I ask is if you have a clear demographic and we have a video that we think targets them, as in worked well, so one of the sets from today, perhaps, we could literally target it to Salisbury professionals in between the ages of 35 and 55 for 2 weeks, just as a test, just to gain data, just to see what happens.
Okay. Yeah.
And it would cover we would have to time it so that you're actually open. So I wouldn't do it when you're on holiday. But outside that, if we trigger it so it starts when you're back, that could actually give you the push you want, because then it will be followed up by the PR thing, then I think that will work. Because if we prep a load of content and don't release any till you're back, so you kind of have a soft launch up to your holiday, then you have your holiday, and then we have a big push from that point forward, because that's kind of when you're...
I just want to use these 2 weeks as...
I mean, if you did want to go down the Facebook approach, etc., like I would just chuck 50 quid at it. Just choose a video, pick a specific target, chuck 50 quid at it, give it 2 weeks, see what happens.
Right, I'm going to... couple of little bits to do, and then I'll be on to the next dish.
Okay.
Which actually
Do you want me
involves
to
some
film?
cooking.
Do you want me to film any of it?
Could you just swivel the label?
Which way are we swiggling, this way?
Yes, perfect.
There?
Thank you very much.
Of course I can do some squiggling. Anything more complicated than that, I might be scarpered, but we can do squiggling.
I'm only doing enough for one portion. Should we do 2?
You have only done enough. Okay, we'll just have to do one portion then. Makes no difference to me.
Huh?
Makes no difference to me.
Oh,
So
fine. Oh no, it's just a bit annoying just to...
it'll be harder for the actual tasting, but meh. We could actually, if you wanted, splice this into one video as well. So I'm planning to do one dish videos.
Okay.
So dish, but also we could do a highlight reel of the whole thing as well, because we've got all the footage there. So
Yeah.
this is the tasting menu kind of thing. Something to think about, though, because this is one of the benefits of when you've got the content, you can re-splice it differently. It's not different enough, though. That's the only.
Yeah. But if we punch this up, stay as we are, you can then crop in the edit as you want. Yeah. Give yourself a little bit. You can then crop in, can't you?
I just think we just go effort and just put the 50mm on that one. We do that. We move that up as well, but we also put the 50mm on this one, so it's different.
Okie
And I'll just deal with the flare from the window. There's nothing I can do because the flare's there, no matter because of camera placement and the way the window is. It's not perfect, Tim. It's not perfect. I could keep playing for until Christmas, but
No.
I don't want to be here till Christmas. I'm sure you don't. I'm sure Tim doesn't. Oh, he's run away.
Oh, it's gone.
I'm just getting some water in case
Oh, he's run away. Let's wake everyone up. And a sync audio. So this snow holiday that you're going on, try and not sway as much. I know why you're doing it, just try and not. It's a nightmare in the edit when people are doing this.
I know, I fidget.
Try not to fidget, try to lock yourself in and not move.
I get fidgety legs.
You're fine, don't worry. Take a deep breath in. And then out.
Zen.
Absolutely. When I ask you a question, try to answer it in the answer. So if I asked you what you have for breakfast, you would say, this morning I had for breakfast, and then what you have for breakfast, for example.
Right.
What makes you unique as a restaurant? Okay, I think there's quite a bit there. I deliberately haven't gone into front of house, etc. I went into that with Jake.
Mm-hmm.
If it's more dishes, story, kind of, I guess in some ways the culture and the morals that you have, like, I think we've covered those. So if you're happy, we'll cut that for now.
Okay.
Make a cut, Richard. We can take 5 if you want to have a think before we, because once we've de-rigged all this, I don't really want to. I don't really want to come back, to be honest. So if you want to take 5 to just think about, is there anything else you do want to put on the record, so to speak?
I don't think so. I mean, we've touched on the challenges that we've had, but without.
I don't. As I said, I think
yeah,
I don't think we lean on those too much.
No.
Like, there's a point in mentioning them, sure,
Yeah.
but what you don't want to do is look at me, I'm a victim because the world's fucked me, even though the world's fucked everyone. Like, different industries have been hit differently, right? But that's what people are going to say. Okay, magic. Unless there's anything else, do you mind doing a brief testimonial for me?
Oh yeah.
Can say no.
Carlton would like you to do a testimonial.
Thanks, Richard. Thanks for reminding me. Thanks, mate. Good thing I remembered.
yeah, can do.
If you don't mind. Just literally just for me, it's just an extra piece of marketing, but also I'd love to hear about how the first shoot plus this shoot has been with you.
Yeah, so when we decided we were going to reopen in the spring, we were looking at options for an increased level of marketing that we hadn't done before, and we know that Carlton is very influential in and around Salisbury, especially with the video content. So we approached him to see if there was a way that we could work together, that he could help create some content for us. So yeah, we've sat down, had a couple of meetings, discussed plans and options, and then he's come down and he's helped create some sort of interview content and also some great looking food content as well with some of our dishes, and when we did a tasting. So yeah, no, he's been a great help. He's helped to guide us through this process, which for us has been incredibly useful. And yeah, looking forward to seeing the end results, and I'd definitely recommend working with Carlton if you need any sort of help or guidance with any of your sort of digital marketing. Yeah, Carlton, I would definitely recommend that you at least contact him and have a chat, because he might be able to do things for you that you haven't thought about yourself.
As I say, mind your eyes. Sorry, I'm going to get a tub of light in a second. That looks a lot nicer.
Sure.
Jake's like, oh God, I can't see. But yes, it does, because it means I can bring the exposure down now. That looks beautiful. We might actually just go without the other light, actually. What did you do today, Jake, before this, if anything? Fair enough. Well done, Jake, you did it. Well. No, you haven't done it yet. Who are you, Jake? What do you do?
Hey, I'm Jake.
Make a cut there, then, Richard.
Up there.
For now.
Unless I end up start repeating myself at some point, that's what I'm like.
There's no point, with stuff like this, there's no point in trying to beat a dead horse. Once we covered it, we covered it. The point was to put a human element to Alan.
Yeah.
So that we're trying to introduce, you're going to meet Jake, you're going to meet Tim. Bang, 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 bang. Let's get some context, let's get some why you actually good at what you do, why do you know those things, etc. Like, but then adding credibility, but then adding this. It wasn't necessarily about let's talk for hours and hours and hours. That wasn't the point. The point was to splice up the content that we're trying to distribute so it's not all samey in that respect. If you'd like to hear how video can help your business in 2023, then find more information somewhere around this video, and I'll see you very, very soon.